All right, my Libra friends, how are you today? Aaron here, bringing you your monthly horoscope for April 2020. If you're new to the channel, please check it out. We've got daily horoscopes that dive deeper into all these aspects, as well as new daily meditations, just little 10-minute meditations to ease our mind during such troubled times. All right, now as far as the month of April goes, April's a lot lighter of a month than the past three, okay? January, February, March were pretty intense. There was a lot astrologically going down. My list was this long of all the information that was going on. And this month seems to simmer a little bit. We've got some conjunctions. We've got a little bit of movement. Always a new moon and a full moon every month. We've got Venus moving out of Taurus into Gemini. We've got Mercury picking up some speed, finally getting out of Pisces, out of Neptune's reach, out of Pisces on the 12th, and it's gonna zip through Aries and enter Taurus on the 27th. Okay, that's like Mercury's power. It's like, okay, we've got to go. We've been stuck for too long, man. It's like the slingshot and release, right? So let me show you your chart here, what's exactly going on. So on the 3rd, we have Mercury conjunct Neptune. This is going to happen around your 6th house, depending where you're at. I've got this set for 0 degrees Libra, so around your 6th house or so, depending on where you're at. This is about the work you're putting in. Okay, you're important. You matter. What kind of work are you doing in this lifetime really matters. Okay, and you're seen. You are visible. Sometimes when we see Neptune anywhere, it's like things go hidden. It's like this black hole abyss, and especially in any of the water signs, things can go hidden. And it's just like the things that you say matter. Your word matters. The work that you're putting in matters. Okay, you have these septiles over here to Jupiter and Pluto, right? This is fate and destiny between what's happening here in your 4th house, which could be home, it could be family, something along there. And again, depending, this is where this is at for you. Around your 4th house. Either way, you got, your chart. So you've got a lot of energy here saying transform. Okay, transform on one end, this Jupiter-Pluto conjunction that's exact on April 4th. Okay, so on the 3rd, we have this connection here. Venus is going to enter Gemini on the 3rd. And on the 4th, we have an exact Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. So Mercury and Neptune are still going to be within proximity to each other, just 1 degree, as Jupiter and Pluto are exact conjunct. And those are going to be making that septile connection here, fate and destiny. Okay? So it's just like what you put your hard work into here at home or in your relationships really starts to come alive in the work that you're putting out there for other people. And you see that beautiful trine up there to the moon in your career house, your 10th house, right? Public image. It's like you're being recognized for all these things, my Libra friends. You're being recognized. Something big is changing. How you're working is changing, okay? You're being recognized for that. People see you. All right, moving on. Mercury enters Aries on the 12th, right? We talked about that. So finally getting out of there. Oh, let me go back. Excuse me. You have a full moon in your sign on the 7th. Okay, that's at 10:35 p.m. All right, so the sun is going to be in your 7th house, right? And the moon's in your 1st house. Emotional me. It's this time. Again, my Libra friends, you're always wanting to balance so much, and the balance that you bring to this world is really, really beautiful. And this is emotional balance being restored to you. Okay, so for those of you that have undergone a move from March into April, it's like finding sanctuary, inner peace. Okay, there is something going on that's really, really powerful, and there's some sort of a partnership or a relationship with someone else that's giving you and allowing you that peace, allowing you that personal freedom and that emotional kind of stability that you need right now, which is really, really, really great. Now, this happens again at 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so this is going to be one of the brightest full moons of the year. All right. So again, really powerful. And whenever we see these like first house, seventh house kind of things, this is just magical for the relationship part of life. Magical time for the relationships. Whether if you're in a partnership, if you're in a long-term relationship, or just starting one out, or trying to start one out, you know, this is a favorable time for all of those. And it means your relationships are going to get even deeper, more intimate, more communication, and especially since Mercury is going to enter your seventh house as well, up the communication and relationship. And it's just like, finally, again, like that slingshot or this pinched hose, Mercury being in Pisces for so long, since February 4th, you know, retrograde, and then finally moving through again. You know, it's just like things that couldn't have been said before, things that couldn't have been communicated before, finally get the heat, the passion, the fire underneath it, and says, yeah, you know, this is a deep, deep love, right? A deep acknowledgement and appreciation and all the good things that you love as a Libra, right? I mean, and Venus is your ruling planet. And Venus is in her other ruling sign for now. In Taurus, of your 8th house of you know, shared resources. So again, that can go with this, you know, potential move thing, or what's happening at the home family front of things. And you know, what's mine, what's yours, what's ours, and things shift here. And Venus is going to move into the 9th house for you. All right, that's, again, that happens on the 3rd, so that's pretty early in the month. And Venus going into the 9th house for you, so leaving your 8th house, entering your 9th. You know, this is a great opportunity to absorb, you know, to have faith in whatever's going on. Like, maybe, again, you know, I've been saying this since last year. We didn't know life could be so good. Now, that might sound strange saying this now on the 31st of March, how life can be so good. But again, we don't know what's around the bend for all of us. And there's a lot of beauty in this chart, a lot of beauty for you that's coming your way in this chart. So there's this new knowledge absorbing like a sponge, saying, hey, you know, I really love this. I love this knowledge. Something is worth seeking out. Maybe there's travel in your heart or in your mind that's going to be coming your way. You know, maybe it's digging into some books or some sacred geometry, or, you know, astrology or something like that. There's you know, there's this deeper sense of learning that you're really falling in love with right now, which is beautiful when Venus enters your 9th house. On the 19th, Sun's going to enter Taurus. Now, this could be your 7th, this could be your 8th house, depending again where your chart's at. So that's the 19th. Venus or Sun enters Taurus. So coming from the spark, coming from the fire into concrete stability. Okay, we need stability, and as it enters this sign of stability, stable Taurus, we have Uranus there to meet it and say, yeah, not so fast. You know, we're nothing's that stable. You know, I shouldn't say that. This desk is stable. This chair is stable. Did the camera just move? It did. You know, it's expect the unexpected when we're dealing with Uranus. Okay, so the Sun is ego self expression. Yeah, life is good, life's amazing, all these wonderful things are happening, you know. And I think that it's exact on the 26th, Uranus conjunct Taurus. Uranus conjunct the Sun conjunct Uranus is exact on the 26th, and on the 22nd there's a new moon in Taurus. Okay, so there's this like stability, emotional stability. There's this breath of fresh air that says, finally, I've been waiting for this for so long. You know, it's like waiting for your sheets to dry and make your bed so you can go to bed, and then you just sprawl out and you roll around like a cat. No, I don't do that ever. You know, so there's some sort of a release. You know, that's Uranus's job, is to release. And then we've got the Sun, ego, self-expression, and there's this great release and an emotional stability. The Moon exalted in Taurus, right? So there's this, you know, and then magical things happen from there. Magical things happen from that point of release. And if we're releasing part of our ego, that can be also a very fantastic thing. Again, when it comes to terms of the other, of relationships or and shared resources, letting go of our tight grip to allow more expansion to come in and more things to happen. All right. Now on the 25th, we've got everything's forward momentum right now until the 25th. Then Pluto, our outermost planet, stations retrograde. And on the 27th, it's finally going to start its retrograde. So for 2 days, it's going to stop. Then on the 27th, it retrogrades backward. All right. So it's the first outer planet of the year to start its retrograde. We've had a lot of forward momentum besides Mercury. Okay. Uranus ended its retrograde early this year, but otherwise we have a lot of forward momentum going on astrologically, and it's not until May where they start pegging off like dominoes. We're going to have a Venus retrograde come May. All right. We're going to have a Mars retrograde later in the year. That's going to be in Aries for 6 months. That's a long time. It's a long time in your 7th house. All right. We'll talk about that more then. But either way, Pluto, for you, this is going to be happening, again, depending on where this is in your chart, you're about your 4th house, right? So, I mean, it's so late here, yeah, depending on where this is at. This is most likely your fourth house for Pluto. That is going to be dealing for 6 months. Something is going on with family, home, and transformation and change. If you are one of the ones that did take a move between March and April, or something happened. I don't know. Can you legally move right now with the quarantine? I have no idea. Just saying what I see here in this. There's adjustments to be made. Here you go. And this is going to also be highlighted on the full moon. There's adjustments to be made in the powers of authority, that you are your own authority. And that, so it's just like if it's like little duckling finally left the nest and moved out, and the parents having to come to terms, come to grips, come to realization that this grown human being is their own authority. And there's been a shift in the home. There's been a shift in our sense of who is the authority, and it's like when that shift happens, how does, parents, I love you, and you're always our parents and we're always your child. And sometimes some of those parents have a wing over their kid. They keeps them really like safe and close, and then it's just like, I gotta fly free, right? And it was, don't fly too high, So there's a little bit of a shift here that's just like, well, I have to make my own mistakes. I have to do things. I gotta figure things out. And we're dealing with the shadow side of that as well. Again, there could be a bit of a power struggle, all right, or a shift in the authority of something in home and family front, right? Shifts. Pluto retrograde. 6 months. All right. And it's an outer planet. It's not as intense as a Venus, the Mercury, or the Mars retrogrades, which are going to be intense coming up here and starting in May and later this year. So it's nothing, to be too concerned about. Like I said at the beginning, overall, this is a pretty light astrological month. Positive things are happening for you. Again, I'm proud of you looking at this chart. It's just like you're doing good work. You're doing good work, and you're strong. You don't create huge waves, but you're seen. You're seen for that. You're seen for not creating huge waves. You're seen for the work that you're putting in, and it's going to really start to fruition, So as always, thank you so much. We'll check you out on the dailies or these meditations that we're doing now if you want to check them out. We'll see you tomorrow.